हरि करना।
So now it's time to get into the permutations. A permutation is an arrangement of objects in a specific order. The order the order of the objects matters, and any change in the order results in a different permutation. So let's take one example for that permutation. Yep. So let's take there are three letters A, B, and C can be arranged in six different ways. Either A, B, C, A, C, B, or B, A, C, or B, C, A, or C, A, B, and finally C, B, A. So each of these arrangements is a permutation of the letters. It's permutes. They permutes. Each of these arrangements is a permutation of the letters A, B, and C. A, B, and C. So there are two ways of permutations. Permutations with a repetition and permutations without a repetition. There are two ways. One is two ways of permutations. Permutations with a repetition and permutations without a repetition. So permutations with repetition, in this case we have n objects and we want to arrange them in r places, allowing the repetition of objects. The formula to calculate the number of permutations with repetition is n power r. It's pretty straightforward. So here permutation with repetition is, so we have n objects and we want to arrange them in r places and arrange them in r places, allowing the repetition of the object, allowing the repetition of the object. Then the formula to calculate the number of permutations with repetition is n power r. Okay. And the other one what we have is, this is what the most important one. For example, okay, in this case we can take example with the repetition. Let me put here. For example, consider the arrangement of the letters A, B, and C all together. So now there is now in two places. For example, we want to go for in two places. In two places, allowing repetition, the possible permutations would be A, B, B. Sorry, we'll go in a sequence. A, B, A, C, then B, A, B, 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 C, C, A, C, B, C, C, which is equal to, we have how many n? N is equals to 3 for us and r is equals to 2 for us. So n power 2, sorry, n power r, that's a 3 power 2, which is equal to 9, 3 square. That's it. This is one way of permutation. That's a permutation with repetition. Now let's look into the other one. So permutation without a repetition. In this case, we have n objects again, n objects, and we want to arrange them in arrange them in n r places without a repetition. Most important thing, without a repetition of objects. So the formula to calculate the number of permutations without a repetition is n factorial divided by n minus r factorial. Let me show you that. So a permutation is an ordered arrangement of objects. The number of different permutations of n distinct objects is n factorial. This is how we read it, n factorial, and this is how we represent it. Then n factorial is nothing but n times n minus 1 times n minus 2 times n minus 3 times and so on till it becomes 1. Now so how many different surveys are required to cover all possible question arrangements if there are 7 questions in a survey? Here we are not basically arranging in uh, certain ways, because only we have n objects and we are seeing permutations of n distinct objects. So there are 7 questions. Obviously, it's 7 factorial. 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 is equals to 5040 surveys. So now the second one, permutation of n objects taken r at a time. This is what we are seeing. In that there are 2 different ways. One is permutations with a repetition, permutation without a repetition. So we'll be looking in the permutations without a repetition. The number of permutations of n elements taken r at a time is n p r. N is number of elements or number of objects. R is number of ways we have taken at a time. So npr is equals to n fact. This is called number of elements in the group or number of objects in the group, and this is called number of ways, number of elements taken from the group or number of ways to do that. Then this is what we get. So that's n factorial divided by n minus r factorial. Okay, so that's how it works. For example, let's take an example. For this this time again we'll take the same thing, letters a b c, but this time in 2 places again. In 2 places, I'm gonna go with the 2 places without repetition. Obviously without repetition, so the possible outcomes are ab, ac, ba, bc, ca, and CB, because repetition won't be there. So that A, B, B, C, C gone. So now how much we got? 6. Let's put it into the formula and see. So 3 factorial divided by 3 minus 2 factorial, and let's do it. 3 1 factorial is 1. 3 times 2 times 1, that's 6. There ends the matter. So example, you are required to read 5 books from a list of 8. So in how many different orders can you do so? Obviously npr, n is 8, 5 r is 5, so 8p5, it is 8 factorial divided by 8 minus 5 factorial. So 8 is equals to 8 factorial divided by 3 factorial is equals to 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 divided by 3 times 2 times 1, and 3 2 1 gets cancelled, and what's left is 6720 ways.